Hey, Spring Day, call this number back. I need $25 for this walk around sit down chair.
Production. Been around the block.
In person again. I fucking like it. Thank you so much for joining us live on Facebook and YouTube. A very special welcome to those of you who are joining us for the first time. This is episode 41 of Been Around the Block. And for those who've not been following us, we just got done celebrating our first year as a podcast. So it's kind of a big deal. And hopefully, God willing, there'll be many, many more years to come of this. This has been a really cool deal. And just in the last 90 days, we've been able to reach 2.2 million people. Please don't forget to like and share our page with anyone that might be affected by alcoholism or drug addiction. This pace, we hope to keep growing and continue our mission to help destigmatize addiction and prove that not only your life won't be boring, but the best years are yet to come. Without any further ado, my name is Brooks Southard. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram at Quirky Cliche Name. Also have Christopher Ross at Christopher on Facebook and Instagram. Burr. And then we got our everybody's favorite content creator, Bradley Nemo Sparks. Find him on Linktree at Nemo Sparks and soon nemosparks.com. Without any further ado, our guest for episode 41, Ashley Wooliver.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Ashley.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for letting me be a part of this.
So we posted not too long ago on the page. I said, if you're not following the page, go check it out. Somehow or another, Ashley dug up some pictures of all of us thick as fuck in our addiction. She found a picture of me, my hair. I can't even tell you. I look like the guy from Goldfinger.
Where were you in that picture?
So I was in my mom's bathroom because she let me stay that night. My ears were pierced. My hair was burred and bleached. And I was just like, I'm going to make a Tinder profile picture or something. I don't know what the fuck was going on. But
That's awesome.
So I was definitely gacked out.
How old were you?
Oh, it was probably 22, 23. Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
So
it's good times. Good times.
The pictures that she chose to put on the cake are all of us in our addictions. Mine, I remember vividly that day. I was withdrawing off all sorts of opiates and could not find nothing. I dug around in my mom's room hoping to find her methadone and came up short and found a Suboxone strip instead. And after I took that Suboxone, everything was great again. Everything was great.
All was well, feeling sexy as fuck at that point, weren't you?
Yeah, went to Louis off Lake Hefner and had the best time of my life.
So real quick, I want to go and shout out. We got, who is that? Ray's Joel. Hello, everybody. Timothy Pilardi always shouts out.
Shout out Timothy Pilardi. What's up, bro?
So, and hello from San Antonio. Hey, man, thanks for tuning in. We're really glad you're here. So, Chris, tell us about the night.
Oh, that night.
Yeah, let's get into it.
I know that
it's got to be good.
I was like, man, I feel good today. Like I was already, I think I probably had like some Oxycontin in my pocket, and I was like really feeling myself. I had on my President Barack Obama shirt.
I don't
perfect. I didn't even
green
vote.
That's perfect.
And I had the matching green glasses on. I was high. I was really high. And I was just like feeling myself tonight. And I took a picture.
So was your mentality, damn, sexy motherfucker? I always think of that movie Beer Fest when he walks by the mirror. It's like, damn, you handsome motherfucker. Look at you.
Why is it? Why is it when we're in our addiction?
We think we look sexy as fuck.
We think we look so good. We snapping selfies and thinking we're looking so good.
Okay, so I'm going to do this so Ashley does not feel left out.
Yes.
So here we go. We're going to go to it.
Oh, this is good, y'all.
So she doesn't feel left out with the cakes. This was Ashley.
That was
one
me.
Of them.
Yes.
One of them. But hold on, I got another one for you. Let me take that comment off the page. And then what's the other one? You said you were on, obviously, opiates here.
Yes.
Okay, and then we got the other one, which is I'm tweaking.
Yes.
So those are so good. Yeah.
Yes. I was so skinny.
So what was going through your mind at that time? Where you're like, damn, look at this sexy bitch.
Oh yeah. Oh
okay.
yeah. I thought I was hot stuff in both of those pictures. Absolutely.
Really? Did you
yes.
look that first
yeah.
one?
Hold on, let's pull it back up again. We got to pull that back.
Did you look at put that back
This
up.
is my favorite. This is by far my favorite picture of any guest.
Were you up in that picture?
and
she
that
was
one,
opiates, man.
yeah,
so.
no, yeah, that was during the downer
She
phase.
was riding it, man. She was
Yeah,
fucking-
I thought it was, kind
like
of
the
like
drugs.
the Kurt Cobain aesthetic,
Fuck yeah.
just
You look like you're about to, you look like you're about to tell me Suboxone is sober.
Yeah.
Or it's something like, man, we're gonna name our Christmas tree after that because it's gonna leave. We're gonna name Amy Winehouse. It's gonna leave needles all over the place after it dies.
Yes, that was actually taken in a hotel in New Mexico. I
Was it a Red Roof Inn? I gotta ask.
um no, I think this was I
Was it a
had
classy
gotten
joint?
it was a little classy, yeah. I had actually gotten some of my family to pay for that night. So they had very nice cucumber water. I remember that.
Nice.
Ingrained in my brain. Yeah.
That's what's up. Hell yeah. I remember doing that with my unemployment card. I'd be like, I swear to God, I'll cash app you the money tomorrow. Just let me get the money for this room, man.
Yes.
Like, yeah, it's all good. So, what were you gonna say, Nate? Or what do you got, Chris?
I was gonna say something about how many people that a roundabout number that we've reached
In the last year? Yeah, man, spit it.
And there we go. We got 11 million. That's a lot.
11 million people, dude, that we have somehow, one way or another, touched.
Somehow, y'all. It might have been someone who just clicked on it and then kept scrolling.
We're still gonna count it, though.
We're still counting it.
100%, though.
The point is, we know that there's a lot of people out there right now that are watching, that are suffering, that do not want to say anything because they are ashamed. And when they hear a testimony, they find hope. And hopefully we are planting seeds out there, even if they don't want to speak up right now.
Well, and the coolest thing about that, man, like, so I've had some of my old running buddies from Tulsa reach out to me. Like, I need to get sober. I did. If you can get sober, man, I feel like I can do it just fine, And I'm sure you guys have had people reach out left and right, and it's been cool. And that's like the goal. Like, even if we reach that many people, if we've helped one person, dude, we've done our job, man.
For sure.
That's the whole goal
sure.
of this thing. So,
happy 1 year, guys.
Man,
I love it whenever
happy
people
1
reach
year to
out.
you all.
I love when people reach out and they're like, I got a few things I want to take care of before I try to take on this sobriety journey.
I got this dog.
let me do you think you can keep my dog while I go to fucking rehab?
My favorite is when they say that their job. I want to get sober, but I can't leave my job right now. I'm about to get this $20,000 raise at the end of the year, and I'm thinking
one paycheck away every fucking week is what it was.
That
every fucking week.
$20,000 a year raise ain't gonna do nothing for you when they're putting that casket in the ground.
Oh, 100%, man. Okay, so I'm going to go and talk about this. So I went to go get a tattoo the other night. That's my new addiction, healthier. And it was just a good reminder. I think the last couple times I've been in engagements where I had to kind of speak about addiction.
Right.
My God puts it right in front of me. A reminder of what's happened. There was a guy that overdosed, almost died from fentanyl at the tattoo parlor the other night. Paramedics had to come in. They had to Narcan him. I mean, my tattoo artist was sitting there, put him in the recovery position because he was like not able to respirate and shit like that, man. And it's just a good reminder of like, I can't go back there, man. It's just, and it's like I said, every time anything like comes up that I'm required to speak, God reminds me with the guy on the street or whatever, somebody I can't really help at that moment.
And it's crazy because that fentanyl, I'm glad. So I got a little over 7 years sober. When I got out of the game, and I was an opiate addict, when I got out of the game, fentanyl really wasn't around like it is now. You know what I'm saying? Like it was, but it's not like
very
it is
specifically now. Looking for it and shit.
And I'm glad I missed that whole.
Well, and just the time that I got sober, man, I've got many names written in the back of my literature of people who've died from that specific drug. It's fucked up. So that's the pandemic of all pandemics, if you ask me.
Okay, guys. So we have a very special guest tonight, Ashley Wooliver, and I love this about our guests. We've had a couple other guests who were, younger, and what I like about that is her story can give hope to the young generation. And to remind them that you don't have to burn your life completely.
You don't have to be our fucking age.
You don't have to be 40 years old before you get
Straight
this.
Up.
You can get this at 20 years old and have a great life ahead of you.
Yes.
Yeah, let's just talk a little bit about what you do for work. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, dude. That's like pretty impressive. I was,
Thank you.
I was scrapping copper. I think. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
let's get into it. And you're about to do a podcast as well too, which I helped you with the
am.
music on today. So
Yes. So I work at a treatment center, Country Road Recovery Center, and I feel so grateful that I am able to get involved there. And because that is the treatment center that I went through myself, and they saved my life, you know. So I'm the director of outreach there. And our podcast is going to be called Road Less Traveled. It's going to air on the last Monday of each month at 6 p.m.
Nice.
I'm really excited to start that. But yeah, I feel extremely lucky that I get to work for the place that saved my life. And I also love doing outreach as well. After I left Country Road, I got a job at a nonprofit doing outreach. And getting together with others around a shared mission is, you know, what it's all about, especially in the recovery community. I mean, that's what you guys are doing as well. And I do have to say one thing, seeing you guys with the pictures on the cake and how far you come is like, it's truly inspirational.
I think all of our questions was, where the hell did you get those? I mean,
Yeah,
obviously you went to the Facebook profile, but
Yeah.
like, damn, you had to do
Yeah.
some digging.
I did,
So-
and this is my first time meeting Bradley, so he's probably going to be like, well, she really had to go far for that. Yeah. It was a hit or miss. So
No, it
But-
definitely hit.
yeah.
So, director of outreach. What?
Yes.
So, what does that entail? Like, what are your job duties?
Yeah, so I get in touch with other treatment centers and really just see where we can help each other out, because that's what we're about, is like, if we can't help somebody, we know somebody that can, you know.
That's the cool thing about the recovery community in Oklahoma City
Yes.
specifically is, I know guys who have sober houses, but if they can't help somebody, they're like, I know somebody.
For
It's
sure.
cool. We're all just trying to help each
Most
other. You know,
definitely.
that's like I said, you don't find that in other cities our size. You know?
Yes.
It is
So-
crazy because we actually all four work in recovery.
Yeah, and
Well, I guess we
awesome.
do. Yeah.
I love what Blake Beckner does. You know, his rules are a little stricter in Better Together Recovery. And whenever someone, you know, they're not sure they can abide by those rules, he'll let them know. He's like, hey, I will help you. I will find you somewhere else to
Yeah.
go. You know, it's not like come to my sober house or, you know, F you, you know.
Well, I had that kind of conversation with Christo, one of our guests, not too long ago. That, you know, I was doing an H&I, and I was, you know, he was like, "Hey, man," because I was like, "Hey, can I just give your number out in case, you know, because I got guys trying to go into sober living." He's like, "Yeah, dude, send them my way. If I can't place them in one of my houses, dude, we got Blake Beckner, we got Ryan Reed, etc. We got all the
Right.
sober living communities. So it's really
There's so
fucking
much
cool.
help out there, guys.
Yeah,
Don't ever
100%.
think there's not. There's so much help out there.
Lots of resources. I've really enjoyed getting to farther who I know in the recovery community. I feel like this is an opportunity for me to do that. Yeah, and it's been great. I love it so far. So
It's awesome. So, all right, I think, did you already ask this on camera or not? But how much sober time you got? You said over 2 years.
yes,
Okay.
2.5 years about.
What's your sober date?
November 19th, 2022.
What?
Yes.
Mine's November 18th.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, by the grace of God, you know.
Hell yeah.
Amen.
So
So let's talk about, have you ever tried to go to treatment before? Or have you ever been in you know, any kind of treatment center before you got sober this time?
no, so Country Roads was my first treatment center. However, I mean, I did try to get sober just by myself.
By your own means,
yeah. That didn't work out too well for me. It lasted maybe a month, I would say, and then
Were you going
So-
insane basically in that time?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
psychosis is definitely what pushed me to get sober. So whenever I did that, it was like I was supposed to meet up with my family that day, and I had just like completely ghosted them. And I met somebody at a gas station.
Nice.
And they said that they liked my hair, and I had dreadlocks at this time.
Was it kind of like the picture we put up there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They were blonde though during this period. And he was like, "Can I get a ride?" And I was like, "Of course." Like I was just asking, the universe for new friends, and here I am at the gas station meeting new friends. And yeah,
perfect.
so I took
perfect.
him home, and it was kind of off the wagon from there, and I ended up meeting somebody else who lived in the same house he did, and I let that person live with me, and that person went to treatment, and when they left, they had taken everything from my house, like completely empty.
Cleaned it out.
So you had your own place at this time in your addiction?
I did, yes.
How was you managing that?
I did not manage it well. I mean, I don't know how in the world this happened, but I never paid a dime in rent. And
Do you still owe that money?
no.
Oh.
Which is crazy. And this is because so I decided to go to treatment when he left, and I was left with nothing, and somehow a church paid a very significant amount of money towards that entire year of rent, and it just worked out. And I truly believe that's because I made the decision to better my life. Like things just kind of work out these days. It's crazy.
So how did your addiction start? I mean, this is going to be kind of a
take us
question.
to the beginning.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So, do we want to start at the very, very beginning, or
let's do it.
Okay. So I mean, I've lived in Oklahoma most of my life. I was born in Oklahoma City, and my parents divorced when I was 3, and I lived with my dad primarily when I was young. And it was awesome because my dad's a great guy. He really is. And I got to watch him like work his tail end off, trying to make a better life for us. And he had like 2 or 3 jobs, like just worked really, really hard. And so one day my mom kind of showed up again and was like, I'm gonna take Ashley and we're gonna do week to week. So I did that for a while, and it was a tough dynamic, and it was kind of confusing for me too, because my physical needs were always taken care of, but emotionally, like as a kid, I felt like the best way I can put it is that I was being chased by a bear. That's how it felt.
Okay.
And so a lot of this was because, my parents were in a court battle our entire lives growing up. So,
And so your mom's Oklahoma City as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did either one of your parents struggle with addiction, anything like that?
No, I want to say no. I mean, I had one parent that I would say maybe a hard drinker, but
okay, yeah.
It was really like the emotional stuff of the household that was like the biggest challenge. My mom, she was a very like neat and tidy person, and like our whole house had to be spotless. Like we cleaned out the sink every day, and if there was like water droplets in the sink, like they got to be gone. So it was just, I felt like I had to prove myself a lot.
Okay.
So I found a solution, to take the craziness out of my brain, and I took my first drink at 12.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So
how did you get that drink?
Parents' liquor cabinet at first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it started out
What was it? I got to ask.
So it was, I can't remember the brand name of it, but it was coconut rum.
Oh.
Yeah. No, not Bacardi.
I know what you're talking about, I think.
I thought that you meant like, did you get a chair and take you up to the couch?
Malibu rum?
Yeah, it
No,
had been something like that. I think we
I
used to,
can't remember.
throwing
I
up
don't
off
even.
that
I
shit was
don't think it's
awful.
a thing anymore. But that was my thing at the time. So it kind of started out as like a every weekend thing. And when I first drank, it was just I saw other people take shots before, and I got like this tiny little medicine cup, and I was like, this is how I'm gonna take my first shot. And so I didn't do any more after that though. So I didn't really feel anything, I guess, the first time, but like I had this desire to go back because I didn't feel anything, like this strong desire to just keep trying it until it worked, and I noticed it started working, for me. So it turned into an every weekend thing. And then I would say within a year, somehow I managed to steal enough alcohol to make it an everyday thing. And I would take it to school and, share it with friends and all the things.
At 13.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was talking to my daughter actually took her to dinner yesterday, and I was giving her a hard time about getting a call from school for her missing a test and a grade falling below. And I'm like, I don't have any room to talk. My freshman year of the first 60 days, I skipped 47 of them to get high and to get drunk and stuff like that. So I'm like, I think she's doing all right. But
yes.
Most people don't operate like I think we do. So
yeah.
But
I have younger siblings who are around the same age as I was when I, first started, and it just like makes me so happy to see that they're just taking a completely different path and they're doing really good,
It does seem like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like to me the younger generation now isn't as crazy as they were when we were younger. I mean, it's all internet and video games, it seems like.
yeah,
I could be wrong. I mean,
dude, like, so when I was growing up, man, it was like, get out of the fucking house, come back when the street lights come
straight
on, up. Real quick before we get going, we had somebody shout out from New Hampshire. Does this say Malibu?
What's up?
And
Yeah,
then we got-
that's what
what's
they were
up?
talking about, Malibu Rum.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
I told you I had it
I
right.
had to be right. Yeah, that's true.
I was thinking of Caribou Tech Nine song.
Yeah, oh yeah,
151 Malibu Rum.
Yeah. That shit. Have you ever tried that combination? It's actually not that good.
It's great. I love
I
it.
don't
Hey,
like
if
it.
you add blue Hawaiian punch with it.
Oh yeah, okay. It's great.
All right, y'all stop. We gotta stop.
Okay. What's this romanticizing it? I don't know.
It kind of was. We gotta stop.
I mean, if I'm gonna romanticize it, I'm gonna go back to Hacky Sack listening to ST drinking 40s Voe, man.
Yeah.
You look like you drink 40s out.
Yeah. Anyways.
So yeah.
Awkward.
So I mean, I even grew up like that too. Now I'm sitting here thinking about it. Like we were outside all the time. Like we'd ride our bikes and stuff. And I remember one time I felt really bad, and I like we kind of lived on a country road at one point. And there was this gravel road we'd ride our bikes up and down, and me and my brothers. I have 7 siblings.
Jesus.
I have 7. Really?
Really?
That's awesome.
I got 3 brothers and 4 sisters.
Jesus.
That's a good little mix. I feel like it's kind of 50-50.
You got 7 too?
Well, some are on my mom's side, some are on my dad's side, but then they're all half.
Yeah, it's a blended mixture of us too, but we're all family, like we're very
man,
close
I know
today.
it didn't take you that long to count, dog.
I got 4 older sisters, 2 older brothers, and 3 younger sisters.
Wow.
I haven't counted too.
Brooks, how many siblings?
Oh,
you
and
got?
my brother.
I got a brother. I got 2 stepbrothers and then 1
10.
brother.
10
Yeah.
10 of us total.
Wow.
Damn. Yeah, and it's crazy. One of my stepbrothers lives here in Oklahoma City. The other one's in Dallas. Never seen the one. And then me and my brother still talk. He's up in Tulsa, works at the liquor store, which is perfect. So
I got to ask. Okay, Ashley.
Yes.
When did it take a dark turn? I mean, I know at 13, you're kind of just, you're taking alcohol up to school, you're sharing it with friends,
did you smoke weed too?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of I mean,
Yeah.
you don't qualify if
So I would say there's kind of two parts to this question. I would say the first dark turn was when I was 15, and I primarily lived at my mom's house, and there was a lot of rules there. Like she was a very, very, very strict parent. So naturally, I defy. That's part of who I am, and it was about 15 when I got kicked out of the house at 15. And so I had invited a few friends over, and we took all the liquor from the cabinet, not just a bottle here and there. It was all of it this time. And stole the car, went to Pizza Hut. And I was like, it's so interesting. I was doing, anything and everything I could to feel different. And I would take nutmeg and try to smoke it. And
Hell yeah.
I'd keep like a gallon bag of nutmeg.
Does that work?
I don't think so.
Anything depriving oxygen in your brain worked for a second.
Yes. I don't think so. So yeah,
Ashley Nutmeg Wooliver.
Yep.
Okay, sold.
Yep.
Nutmeg.
Yeah. But
What other spices were you doing?
oregano.
guess we
I
did
mean,
that
it
too.
didn't stop at nutmeg. I wish I could say it did, but I tried every spice in the cabinet. So, yeah, I would say about 15 though. And at this time, like I was already like, my mom had kind of like her and my dad didn't get along very well. So, I was feeling the brunt of that quite a bit, and like I didn't really know how to emotionally process that at the time. And I I had I was going through a big depression at that point. I would say like 14, 15 is when I started going through the depression. And like I had, I was dealing with mental health stuff for a while on top of that. And so my mom found out about, the whole nutmeg thing and the car and all the things. And she ended up kicking me out. My dad picked me up in the middle of the night and was like, "It's okay, you can come stay with us." And so I was on a very tight leash at one household, and then on the other one, I saw that as an opportunity to do whatever I wanted to, when that wasn't the case at all, but that's what I took it as. And I switched schools and fell in with with the people that were doing Xanax, and started doing that every day.
So are you you're originally from? You grew up in Norman, correct?
Yes.
Where are you originally from?
Yes. So we lived in Oklahoma City, but I always went to like Norman schools and stuff. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I got one more shout out real quick. We said, "What's up from ATL?" Hello. And I just want to throw this up there real quick. Smoking nutmeg, we do recover.
Yes.
Hey,
Yeah.
hand me your laptop. I want to address this next one.
Okay, I'm not gonna read all that, or do you want me to?
I mean, I'll read it. It's not.
I got it in here. Okay. So we can talk about the problems here and how come there's a label on people, and if they are functional addicts and they don't have a problem in life financially and they can go to work and it's just a part of a way of living, then there's other people's can't even help. But
Get help. Hold on, they can't get help, but they do the right thing because they can't leave their children, or they're the breadwinner, and they can't even tell anybody they have a problem because that's not to be expected of them. You know what I'm saying? So now, did she just stop is that all of it?
I think that's all that was allowed as far as characters. I can look at the
so we can
page
talk
real
about
quick.
problems here. How come there's a label on people even if they are functional addicts and they don't have a problem in life financially and they can go to work and it's just a part of the way of living? Okay, I kind of understand the first part of that. I mean, look, if you're a functioning addict and it's working for you,
You may not be.
Keep going.
Yeah.
More power to you. We are specifically speaking to those people that can't function as an addict, and drugs have totally ruined every aspect of their life, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Spiritually being the number one thing, and they are soulless and hopeless. We are speaking to those people. So if you are a functioning addict watching this, and that's working for you, then hey, more power to you. We, tune in whenever the drugs aren't working for you.
Hey, I'm not going to put this up on the screen though. Chris Treese, man, just DM one of us. We're not associated with any 12-step help program. Just DM one of us. We can probably get you pointed in the right direction.
One thing I can say about functioning addicts.
If you're like, for me, it's not. If I'm functioning, I'm not having fun doing it. So
No.
you know what I mean. It's not.
Okay, so like that's the deal. I've my last year in addiction, I had a really good welding job, and I showed up every day, and I kept the bills paid. Never missed rent. Never missed, But I would wake up in the morning. I would snort a half a Subutex pill, put the other half in my fifth pocket, chug a 6-point beer. I say 6-point beer because here in Oklahoma at that time
They didn't do. Yeah,
we didn't have 6-point in the regular stores. Chug a 6-point beer, put a pint of whiskey in my lunch pail, and swig out of that until my lunch break. Snort the other half of the
just to get by.
Just to get by until I clocked out at 3 p.m. and then I'd go home and I would drink myself into a blackout. Now, some people would call that functioning. I was financially stable.
Yeah, at a job. Yeah,
And from the outside looking in, I could make my life look really great, especially on Facebook. I could fool you on Facebook and make you think that my life was amazing, but I was slowly dying on the inside. So that's what a functioning addict for me looks like.
Well, and I think this brings up the question. You got to figure that out for yourself. I personally, it's just like Nemo's story, man. Throwing up a morphine pill in a toilet and digging it out because I could not function without that pill is not, I had a job. I was paying my bills. My phone bill was paid, but it's not really healthy behavior. Like I said, that's something I had to figure out on my own. That's what we're like. We try to destigmatize it, but you got to figure that out on your own, man. You may be able to just smoke weed on the weekends or something or whatever, or have a glass of wine, but we're not blanket saying everyone, but like people like me are wired like that. I'm just naturally restless, irritable, discontented. I don't operate well unless I've got like a spiritual solution or drugs or alcohol, whatever whatever you want to.
I went from being a completely perfectly normal functioning addict from what I thought was normal.
Yeah.
To I was working at a country club here in Oklahoma City, and I was doing anything and everything that I can. I was making good money, and I thought I wasn't hurting anyone. It's not even just about me; it's about everyone else around me that I was destroying their lives, or they were worried that I was going to die one day. And me trying to be my stepdad who passed away this year. He was a functioning drug addict up until like 15 years ago. He realized that he was hurting more people than just hurting himself. Like, you think that you're not hurting anyone, but it's very possible.
Well, it's the broken promises. It's it's so much more than just skin deep, because on paper you're not hurting anybody. I want to go ahead and just put this up here.
What is that comment?
Okay, are you an addict if taking Suboxone? Again, that's a personal kind of. I myself personally, if I'm doing methadone, because I proved this, I tested this theory. If I'm taking methadone, I'm still an addict because I wake, I live, and I rise just to get that fix or whatever. So. Yes. Again, that's something you got to figure out on your own. I think he just commented on that.
I kind of want to get to that. I love that. So
it's such a good controversial topic.
It is.
Hold on. What's your take on that?
I think
I got to ask that. Yeah.
Personally, if anything alters my state of mind, I'm going to naturally chase that
Yeah.
as an addict.
Hey,
No matter what it is.
Hold on, we're gonna get those guys that are like, well, what about coffee?
Or energy
What
drinks,
about caffeine?
cigarettes. What about cigarettes?
And
Yeah.
what they're doing is they're just justifying their marijuana and Suboxone use, and that's fine, guys. I
Yeah.
get it.
It's something you got to decide for yourself, man. That's really a personal.
Exactly. So this is my deal, y'all. When I'm speaking from experience with Suboxone and methadone. I was on methadone 2 different times, and I was on Suboxone 2 different times. Both of them for a good amount of time, long enough to tell you that I felt no pain, but I also felt no joy. I literally
You were
felt
just
like
existing. Yeah.
I
occupying
literally
space.
felt like I was just existing. You're right.
Yeah.
And so for me, I had to, and I felt like I didn't have no spiritual connection to no higher power. And I know how my addict brain works. So you give me a prescription of Suboxone, and I take that, I take my strip daily. Let's say I take it like I'm supposed to. I'm not always going to take it like I'm supposed to. I'm going to take a half a strip more, maybe another extra strip more when I'm having a bad day, because that's how my addict mentality is. And then when I run out, then I'll know if I am an addict. If I run out of my Suboxone and you come and try to conversate with me, or we try to hang out that day, you're going to find out real fast that, yeah, I am an addict. I am addicted to this stuff. It did nothing for me. It actually took away from me. I'm for Suboxone if you're using it to detox a person off opiates, maybe for 1 week.
Well,
maybe 2.
We talked to Derek about that. It has a place.
It does. It does have its place, but trading it for another addiction, I mean, come on, guys. If you're being totally honest, that's what it is. We're trading one addiction for another. Are you no longer shooting up fentanyl? Yeah. You'll probably live a little longer? Yeah. Do you got a job and are you doing all those things are great, but at the end of the day, when are you going to totally be free from that substance?
I went from drinking all the time, and I was like, well, I can drink I was drinking and doing pills, and I was like, well, I can do more pills if I quit drinking. So I just traded up, and like it happens that way. It also happens the other way where people trade down. Like,
I would even half my doses one day so I could have more the next day. I would use a different mentality. Well, I can feel something tomorrow if I,
right.
depending.
That's what we live in.
It's trying to cheat the system, trying to,
Also, too, like for me, like if I am starting one thing because I think it's better in my mind, eventually that thing is going to stop working.
Yeah, it's not going to be good enough. Yep,
yeah,
straight
and then
up.
I'm going to chase the rest of the stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to wake up. Let's say I just try to smoke weed. And guys, weed, I know it's legal now in most states, but there was a time when it wasn't, and it was still around. And I tried just smoking weed, and it didn't work for me. I would try to just smoke weed for a couple months, and I would reach for that bag, and it wouldn't be enough.
Yeah.
I would have a really, really bad week or really bad day, and I'd go, you know what?
Lord tab wouldn't
this
hurt or something.
Marijuana ain't gonna cut it. You know what I'm saying? Like the homie comes over with a Xanax or a Lord tab or something. And I'm like, man, this is gonna be better.
Yes.
So we got to get out of that mentality. Me personally, I am so against the whole harm reduction recovery that we have these days, because it seems like
the patient doesn't benefit. I mean, that's just,
and they stay on it for life.
Yeah,
they're on it.
Well, that's a customer for life for the insurance companies and for the doctors.
With themselves, I mean, I know a lot of people that have messaged me personally, and they'll say, "I've been on Suboxone 10 years, and I hate it. I want off so bad, but I'm scared." And then it's like, damn, So basically, you just traded a street drug dealer for a government pharmacy drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? Like that's your drug dealer now.
Yeah, straight up. Somebody, I just want to throw this up there. 90 days sober today, man. That's what's up, Cameron.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Bonus just drop in. What we got? Let's see. what are ways that help you get off those by chance? You got to talk to your doctor, man. We're not medical professional, man. That's
Yeah.
one thing.
doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just have an honest conversation with your doctor, and that's, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy the way me and you both came off of methadone, dude. 23 days of not even be able to get from the shower to the toilet without shitting on the floor because I was
It's
so
horrible.
sick. It was the worst.
I remember
feeling.
Fish. I remember when McLeod was on.
Mm.
He said 2 people you don't lie to is your lawyer and your doctor.
Yeah, straight
you don't
up.
lie to anyone else.
I love that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's straight
You
up.
reminded me.
Yeah,
of
that's
that.
good. That's really good.
I want to
Yeah.
add your barber too. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't lie to your lawyer, your doctor, or your barber.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But so yeah, to answer your question, was his name Kyle?
Yeah. You. Yeah. Yes. I think so.
Okay. So Kyle, just I would say this: I went through a lot of pain withdrawing off Suboxone, and thank God I'm finally completely free from that. But I'm grateful for the pain that I went through because it reminds me that I don't ever want to go back to that.
100%, man.
And
It's a good reminder, man.
Sometimes you got to go through it to get to it. A lot of times we don't want to go through the withdrawals. We don't want to go through the pain, the mental anguish. We just want to wake up and be sober
And be
and it
cured.
don't work like that.
Yeah.
It don't. We spend so many years wrecking our lives with chemicals and wrecking our brain, and we got to go through the pain to get out of that. It is what it is.
Mine was every time that when I first got sober, every single time that I thought about using, I would think about them withdrawals that I went through, and that's what kept me going.
Let's get back to Ashley's story. We kind of went off on a tangent. I'm sorry.
So good.
That's
So
good. It's
we
good
was
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's a good
It-
discussion.
good
Yeah, I mean, I would
conversation.
not. Yeah, I yes, good shit. Anyways,
So we were at
Where did we
Nutmeg.
we were smoking
That's
nutmeg.
when
We
our
do
story
recover.
took a dark
We got-
turn.
Even
No.
nutmeg, we do recover.
Yes. So I think we got a little past the nutmeg.
Yeah, we went nutmeg, then we went to oregano. We were getting on the other rest of the spice rack.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it kind of took a dark turn for me. I say number one, when I switched to a different school, because I would say too, even like, I mean, I was a child, I was a kid, but I was able to keep up with the appearance of everything during that time. So I was a little functional, even though I was drinking every day. I had a 4.0 and I made straight A's. But once I switched schools, I just didn't really care anymore. I had felt like, in a way, I had kind of like lost my mom a little bit. And then after that had happened, I had a lot of family that I was close to pass away. So my Mima and Papa, they were like, they're a big part of who I am today. They were my people, and they kind of had a part in raising me too. I spent a lot of time with them. My grandmother, my Mima, had passed away, and then my grandfather had passed away. And during that night, it was crazy because I was actually at a party, and my brother showed up, and my brother is not one, you wouldn't catch him in a place like that. It was just kind of it. God was in that. And so he called my dad. My dad was not very happy. And I still remember them being like, Ashley Wooliver, come to the front. And I had to like stand in front of everybody with my dad pissed off like this. And yeah. So he picked me up and told me my grandpa passed away the next morning, and my dad was like, I don't understand why, you're putting yourself in situations like this, because this wasn't the first time I had done that. And he was like, I get it now. I get why you're going through that. And he told me that I was an alcoholic at this point. And he was like, I get it. And so that kind of went straight over my head. But he knew. So after that, I had dealt with so much loss that like I had never been through anything like that before. I think maybe I like lost a pet and that was it. But I was going through a lot of grief and a lot of change. And everyone at my old school thought, so back up. The cops were called and they thought the nutmeg was heroin. And so, yeah, the cops were like, this is heroin. Your daughter's doing heroin. And so the word got around, you know, and I was like, I'm going to show you guys, you know what I mean? Like, I'll show you what an addict is. And that's the road that I decided to take after that. So, I ended up not wanting to go to school anymore. And I begged and begged my dad to pick me up like every day. And he would sometimes, but he got tired of it. And so we lived on a farm at this point, which is super awesome experience. Like I'm so lucky that we all got to have a part in that. Like we had goats and pigs and chickens. We had like 200 chickens. It was really cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And bees too.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And we sold at the farmer's market and everything. So I got to like experience or growing organic food, and then like picking it in your yard and like bringing it inside and cooking it. And I had fallen in love with cooking too at this point. That was like the one thing that was keeping me kind of grounded. But I didn't want to go to school anymore, so I started helping out on the farm. And then this was actually, I think this might have been the same year of 15. This might have been the same year. And so I did online. And when I turned 16, I got a full-time job. So I was working at Cracker Barrel during this time. And this was the Xanax period. I would take a Xanax every day.
Was it? Hold on, I got through.
And go to work.
Yeah, was it? Were you looking like this?
Very similar to that. Yeah. I think I was a little older in that picture, but I looked very similar to that. So, yeah, this was like my freedom away from the house. That's why I got the job. So I could, go get messed up somewhere else, so I graduated a year early because I wanted to continue my addiction and not have anybody question what I was doing. So I left home. This was also the year of COVID. So I kept going. I met a girl at Cracker Barrel that went to school in Ada. She was at ECU, and I started going out there to hang out, and I found out that cocaine was
A hell of a drug.
Oh,
yeah. So that steered me towards the college direction. Was
So did you graduate high school?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. I graduated at 17. I graduated a year early, and went to ECU at 17 as well. So during the summer, I spent so much time there. My dad was like, you either you move out or you stay home, because it was COVID. And I was like, I'm moving out. There's cocaine here, So that's what I did. And I stayed in the summer in the dorms. And that was, I would say, the second turn.
Was you going to college there, or was you staying in the dorms?
I was just staying in the dorms with friends at this point. Yeah. No school. I did enroll though, and I did get started in the fall. I was going to school for pre-med psychology, trying to figure out what was wrong with my brain,
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. So, I never did any school though. Like I would say Adderall was also extremely big at this school. And I would be like, I'm going to take an Adderall and focus on schoolwork. And then I'd be like, this Adderall is not enough. I'm going to do another line of cocaine. And then I'd end up cleaning the bathroom all night. So no school really got done. So, Yeah, and I mean, I found like all the party drugs in college, the ecstasy, shrooms, all
Yeah,
the
okay.
stuff.
So we talked about this earlier. You said you overdosed once,
It
and it
was
was on
on
ecstasy that was laced with fentanyl, basically,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. So, yeah, So I always got the biggest ones. I was like, I would like a triple stack, please. So I, yeah.
Order from a drive-through.
Yeah.
Get a triple stack.
Can you supersize that, please?
Yeah.
Make it the crown meal,
So, yeah. I did a lot of ecstasy, and it was laced with fentanyl, and I was in the dorms,
Ooh.
and I started like seizing really bad, and I ended up stopping, and like they were like, lay her on her back, and then I started throwing up, and like I almost died from that, choking on my throw up. And someone had Narcan and Narcaned me.
God, shit.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
Were you pissed off when you came
Yeah.
to? That's basically the experience I've had when I'm Narcan people. They're mad about it.
Yeah.
I went into instant withdrawals. That's what happened.
I was very confused when I woke up, and like just felt like a ton of anxiety. And yeah, I was mad at all my friends. I was like, why would you do that? And they were like, we were trying to save your life. What do you mean? And I
So
was like,
you're, I'm assuming you're 18 at this time.
yes.
Okay, 18.
About, yeah.
You choke on you OD pretty much on a fentanyl laced ecstasy, choke on your own vomit, and get Narcaned. When you come to, does it go through your mind that, hey, I might have a problem?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Actually, I think I did more directly after that. It didn't even cross my mind during that time. It was just, I always surrounded myself with people who did as much drugs as I did. And if they stopped and I started doing more, then I'd find new friends, So it was very normalized.
That's the insanity.
Yes.
So, what made you decide to finally go to Country Road? I mean,
Yeah, so you're 22 with 2 years sober. So you got sober before you were even legally able to drink.
Yeah. So, I mean, I went through, after this, like, I went through a really, really bad patch with meth. I found meth.
yeah.
And I had tried to, I was never a good drug dealer. I was just too kind of out of my mind to even function. And I was selling something at this point, and someone was like, I'll trade you. I don't have any money, but I'll trade you. And I was like, I'm down to try new things. What you got? And it turns out it was meth. And so this was my introduction to meth. It's not necessarily what got me sober, but it's a little story beforehand. I ended up doing a lot. Like I think it was 7 lines of it, and I ended up in the hospital because it made me so dehydrated. And so a friend and I had went to the hospital, and both of us were like, we're never gonna do this again. And I did it again. So that was the start of that. That was a long stretch, and I mean, I was homeless during that point. I lost everything. It twice actually. I lost everything twice before I was ready to get sober. But I went insane whenever I did meth. Like I was in really, really terrible psychosis. And I couldn't understand why all of it was happening to me. And I just wanted to stop. And like I was in an abusive relationship whenever I was doing meth. And I had got like so much happened during that time. Like I had gotten pregnant. I had lost not once, twice, pregnant 3 times, and had 3 miscarriages.
Damn.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And like lived in a tent. We ran from the police to New Mexico. You know, I was like, yeah, I'll help you out with that. Let's go. And I always joke with my family because they're kind of tough love people. They're like, you're gonna have to figure this stuff out on your own. And I told them I was going to New Mexico to live in a tent, and they were like, "It's a really good idea." So if they ever say something is a really good idea now,
Maybe red flag. Yeah,
don't do it.
that's good.
Yes. So yeah.
So what was your coming to Jesus moment? What was the moment that you said that brought you to that November 19th date?
So that was when I got everything taken from me. And like I would say that it was a combination of the psychosis that I went through and just not having money to fund my addiction anymore. I didn't know like
Where were you at geographically? Where?
Norman.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Almost, sir.
No, at this point I had gotten an apartment, and this was the place that.
Oh, we were just talking about.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Where the universe brought that one guy.
Yes. Yeah, from the gas station.
Do you forgive that guy? Do you ever think about that?
The relationship I was in, or
the him taking all your
Oh
shit?
yeah, I mean that's really what pushed me to make a change. So I don't hold any resentment for that at all. In fact, I'm really grateful for that experience.
So I've had to look back at stuff because I've had very similar situations happen, but the bottom line is I wouldn't be where I am today had I not had all that shit happen. So
For sure.
Yes.
And I gotta ask, so because especially if we got any young viewers watching who are let's say under 21, maybe in the age gap 18 to 21, do you kind of feel like you're missing out on that fun life?
That's a damn good question.
Do
you have that
going out and having drinks with the friends and what young 20-year-olds do, 21-year-olds do, and you quit at 20, so you never really
we should have asked Wyatt that question too, because he quit before he was 21.
There was 3 people on here we've had.
Sure enough, yeah.
Cool.
Ryan, Wyatt, and her.
We'll have to
awesome.
remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good question.
Not at all. I mean, like
You know where the tape leads. Basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I can't drink. Like it never leads to anywhere good. It was not fun.
It lead
for
to your
me.
parents saying that's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so wise.
Malibu.
Of someone who's so young.
That's
what
so
I'm saying?
cool though.
God, I wish I would have got it at 20. Kind of. I mean, you know what? Maybe I wouldn't be sitting here with you guys.
I wish I'd have got it at 30, man.
30?
I had a taste of it.
He's running a little bit time.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I got it at 36, but man, just wasn't ready, man. I was looking for differences, and I fucking found them, man.
Mhm.
Well, I can smoke weed. It's fine. I go to church. Jesus has saved me, and all that. It's like nothing wrong with that. And I've known a very few people that the church and Jesus has completely delivered them, but they will never safely use drugs or alcohol again.
No,
Mhm.
It's not, I think just we're wired that way, and that's
exactly
just part of it. So we are kind of getting close on time. I've got your question for you.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, he's got it on the screen. Bam.
we
Much
go.
better.
That's awesome. What is
You are okay. So, question for the guests: what is the importance, in your opinion, of having mentors in your recovery, and who's helped you the most? Second part of the question: and what advice did they give you?
Man,
That's a really good question.
love that question.
I think having mentors in recovery for me really helps to know what has worked for other people, and maybe some suggestions that I could try to live life a little bit better every day. I'm big on growth and goals, and I just try to be better every day. And seeing other people do that provides me with a lot of inspiration. And the second part of the question was someone that has helped me.
Well, so the second question, and what advice did they give you? What is something? What are some just a key phrase maybe somebody said to you that was like, oh,
Yes.
it's gonna stick with me. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, someone that I really look up to in sobriety is my dad, because I mean, like I mentioned earlier, like I got to watch him like come. We didn't really have much, and he,
You fucking made it work.
yeah, he did, and he's provided a lot of cool experiences for us. And he's not very vocal about all the things, but he always shows with his actions. That's something I really admire about him. And something that he said to me one time is he wrote me a letter before going off to college and said, one day you're going to wish you slowed down and enjoyed the time that you have with your family, because that is the most important thing. And that has always stuck with me.
Man.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
We
yeah.
ain't gonna be on our deathbed and be like, man, I wish I would have worked more hours. I wish I would have scrolled on social media a little longer.
Uh-huh.
It's like it's gonna be
I should have liked more photos so Jesus could save that child.
we're gonna be on our deathbed and we're gonna go, man, I wish I would have spent more time with the loved ones.
Yes.
Loved ones. And
Yes.
if I can remind myself of that daily, that is so powerful. I love that you brought that up.
It's
Yeah.
really good, man. So, and let me just kind of reword your question. If you could do anything and money wasn't an option, what would you do? And then I put in brackets, and you can't say travel the world. Or what was your asterisk on that?
So if you do say travel the world, it's got to be like travel the world and write about other cultures, something that
It
you're
can't just be travel the
passionate
world.
about. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to know the passions.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got it locked in.
Yes. Awesome.
Man, thank you so much for joining us, man. The amount of people we've been able to reach in this. Ashley, thank you so much for coming on here. We're going to try and get back to where we're doing this at least once a month live. We've got some really good guests coming up too. And coming up in a couple weeks, we got Rick Sennett, which is, I don't know if you're from Oklahoma, you might know him, but he does the murals, and he also created the Save the Monarchs license plate, which is a vanity plate you can get around here. So I guess, Nemo, you're going to do the shout outs for the show?
I am going to do so. So every week, guys, I just want to thank everyone that takes the time to comment and watch and support us. We are forever grateful. And we got Joe Reyes and Timothy Pilardi. Y'all, there's some regulars, man. Shout out to y'all. Love y'all. Gary Plummer, Joseph Harris. Hey, McKaylee Thompson, what's up? She said, Ashley.
That's sweet.
Tracy Merrifield, Chris Treese, Vanity. I don't want to get her last name wrong. John Timmons, Kyle Bowers, Susie Fetterman, shout out. Jerry Watson.
Shout out Jerry.
Yeah.
Gary Allen.
What's up, Gary?
What's up, Gary? Jax Berryman, Warren Hillboat. And we got a lot of people commenting tonight, y'all.
Yeah, there's a whole argument going on earlier, I think, which is
We're not
That's
gonna get
awesome.
into that,
Yeah.
guys. I do
that.
want to say something after this.
okay. We like that too.
Cameron Rollins, Melissa Silverstein, Walter Dean.
Walter.
You know Walter?
Yeah, that's my partner.
Okay.
I love you, Walter. I love you, Chris
Your
Johnson.
heterosexual life, mate.
Desiree Laney.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, they're
She's
going.
I
really
think we're
are
having
going
her
back
come
and
on too.
forth.
So.
Okay.
Brendan Clark, what's up? Keith Laps. Hey, that's one of my clients, man. I gotta cut his hair.
You're official now. You can legally do it.
congratulations to him,
Yeah.
too.
Congratulations, Demo.
Yes,
he is
I'm
licensed.
a barber now, y'all. Officially. Mindy McElwin. And if I get y'all's last names wrong, guys, I'm sorry. I tried. And Kelly Anderson. And guys, I do want to kind of step back and go
Real quick, do you want to shout out anybody?
Mindy and Joseph were
Okay.
two people I knew. Thank you for supporting.
That's awesome. What do you got, Nemo? I'm just.
My deal was like.
Do you want to throw the comment up there?
No,
Okay.
I don't want to throw the comment out there. But I do want to say, when I was speaking earlier about the whole Suboxone thing, look, this road to recovery is your journey. and you're going to find, what works for you. When I speak about something, it's from experience. That's why I am totally against Matt, because of my experience and a lot of people in my circle's experience, it did nothing but hurt. It did not help. And I want to say our problem is that we are trying to change the way we think and feel. Take a step back for a second and ask yourself, why am I trying to change the way I think and feel? That's your problem. Drugs and alcohol is the solution to your problem. And if you take one drug out of your life and you just put another one in your life, you are still just trying to change the way you think and feel. And you are only masking and putting a Band-Aid on them problems. And it's only a temporary solution. And my prayer is that you will be completely free. And I'm speaking to the guy on here that was asking. So I'm not bashing you. I want you to know that I'm not bashing you for being on Suboxone. My prayer is that one day you are completely free from the Suboxone. And I love you guys. And I will holler at y'all later.
Man, this is so good. Yeah, and again, like a lot of what Nemo was saying, man, you've got to figure that out for yourself. What your program of recovery isn't going to necessarily look like mine or Ashley's or Chris's or Nemo's, man. I just know what worked for me and what didn't work for me. And like I said, me and Nemo and Chris, for that matter, can speak from experience on the Matt thing. We just have, it's left a really salty fucking taste in my mouth personally. And I feel like these guys could say the same thing. So, man, episode 41, dudes. It's good.
In the bag,
One
baby.
year. Man, we're looking for sponsors. I mean, if you guys want to officiate us,
sponsor us, please.
yeah, I mean, we'd be okay. We could do shout out to your company. I mean, we're not going to shout out the pharmaceuticals or nothing or Coors beer or nothing, but we'll figure something out. So, anyways, episode 41. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, Ashley.
All right, and here's our outro song. It's gonna be longer since
We
we're
aren't
in person.
against TikTok. We want TikTok to keep going. But we are against a Chinese company that is in cahoots with the Chinese Communist Party owning TikTok.
Leave my TikTok page alone.
It should have got so much more play,
Yeah. That can be found on Nemo's page, my page, Chris Ross's page, and the Been Around the Block page. Bam.
Each ball.